Willie D Live.
What's up, family? They done dragged Prince into the trial. One of Diddy's former personal assistants just testified in court that Prince's security had to once intervene after they saw Diddy beginning to attack Cassie outside of a party hosted by Prince. The female assistant, introduced by her pseudonym Mia, says she worked for Diddy as his personal assistant and later as director of development and acquisition for Revolt Films, a media company Diddy founded. Mia told the jury she witnessed Diddy get physically violent with Cassie on multiple occasions, including a 2010 party hosted by Prince. She testified the night before the party, Diddy told her to stay with Cassie and that he was going to be at his house with his kids. She says she heard about a Prince party and she and Cassie debated like little kids if they should sneak out and attend the party. The issue? Mia told the jury that she and Cassie were not allowed to go where they wanted, when they wanted, and if they did something without Diddy's permission, they were punished in bad, scary, and terrifying ways. Let's stop right there. If they did something without Diddy's permission, they were punished in bad, scary, and terrifying ways. Yet, they did something without Diddy's permission anyway. And that ain't just anything. That's a Prince party. Knowing that the media is going to be there. Knowing that it's probably going to be a who's who. It's a Prince party. She knows it's going to get out. This is what I mean, fam, about how sometimes people will make calculated, rational decisions to do things that they know they should not be doing. But because they are getting what they want out of it, they do it anyway. Cassie knew that Diddy was going to be very upset and she was taking a chance on having her body harmed because she knew this dude was going to be against her going to that party, but she went anyway. Kind of like how she knew they was not supposed to be doing certain things with the freak-offs and all of that stuff. But because she was getting something out of it, she did it anyway. I do not believe, you'll never get me to believe, that Diddy forced Cassie into over 300 or 400 or 500 freak-offs. All of that freaking. Nah, I do not believe that. Don't believe it at all. In fact, let's see. They said they had a freak-off. She said they had a freak-off pretty much every week of the relationship. For 10 years, they was having freak-offs. 365 days. Let me back up. You got 52 weekends times 10, that's over. So that's, if you were to be liberal about it, you would say 500. 500 freak-offs. That is a lot of freaking. Yeah, man. Anyway, moving on. Mia says she and Cassie ended up going to Prince's party, where Prince performed for partygoers on a little table. She told jurors she saw Diddy show up and they locked eyes. She said she thought, oh crap, and Cassie booked it out of the party. She said she went with Cassie across the street to some woods or bushes, but Diddy caught Cassie and had her on the ground and started attacking her before Prince's security intervened. Mia said the next day HR told her Diddy was suspending her without pay and that Diddy had said she was being insubordinate. Asked about working for Diddy, Mia said his moods changed often. She described being targeted by Diddy in alleged violent incidents being thrown against a wall, having things thrown at her, having an ice bucket put on her head, slamming her arms into a door. And she says he sexually assaulted her more than once. She said one of the first times she met Diddy, he was in his underwear at his apartment after a human resources person had left. Mia says she once stayed up 5 days straight to work, taking Adderall extended release. Adderall extended release. I would have thought it would have said extended relief, but Adderall extended release. There it is. Overthinking too much. Anyway, fam. Why they drag my boy into this, man? Prince. But I can see Prince people being on code like that because they didn't get down like that. Prince didn't get down like that. He didn't have those type of dudes, where anything goes around him. He was very, very, very sharp. He had it together, and Prince, in fact, I've been around Prince a lot, and Prince has always operated in the most professional manner. Like, none of that wild, crazy stuff. If he did it, I ain't see it. But always on point, never any drama, whether he was at a large venue, an arena, or whether he was at a small club. He was always laid back, chill. His people was laid back, chill. They wasn't overzealous like some bodyguards and security people are. They was really, really chill dudes, but they made sure they had Prince covered. Another thing about Prince too, man, Prince would leave a venue, or he might play, he'll play a venue where he just got off and it was 50,000 people there. And he would give a 2.5, 3 hour show. Go to the club for an after party where it's, maybe 200-300 people, and perform again for another 2 hours straight and with the same type of enthusiasm, same type of energy. I was like, that dude really loved what he does. He really loves his job because he had that same type of energy. Like, he gave that crowd of 500, the crowd of 300, the same amount of energy he gave the crowd of 30,000 or 50,000. Yeah. But damn, there's so many people are coming out talking about Diddy's behavior, talking about how violent Diddy is. And when you hear that much from so many different people who are, they're interconnected, but some of them, don't know each other at all. And it's the same thing. Like, violent. Boy, he whooping on Cassie, man. Boy. So they start talking about that 30 million, man, or 20 million. You start thinking to yourself, damn, she probably earned that. Because, damn. It's hard for me to hear so many stories from so many different people. And the one constant is Diddy is violent. I had heard Diddy was violent, and I guess I'm still hearing Diddy is violent. But when we saw that video, now we can kind of put some visuals with that audio, right? Because the way he did Cassie, he whooped on Cassie like that's what he do. He whooped her like a professional, like, grabbing her, throwing her to the ground, kicking, throwing back, man. And then that picture that I saw when she had that gash on her head. Now, don't get me wrong, fam. Now, I'm still not absolving Cassie of any wrongdoing. If Diddy's on trial for RICO, then Cassie was his accomplice, because let them tell it, for at least 10 years, they were Bonnie and Clyde. Cassie was the main subject. for at least 10 years. She engaged in those freak-offs. She paid the sex workers. She recruited. She scheduled, right? And then what about these other people, the cleanup crew? You had one dude who was actually cleaning up the crime scene. If it was indeed a crime scene, right? He was cleaning up behind them, making sure that the hotel staff didn't see anything. Isn't that aiding and abetting, or at least like what they call it, tampering with evidence? Something, right? I'm saying if Diddy is accused of something criminal, then the person who cleaned up the crime scene have to at least be guilty too, right? I'm not with everybody else going to jail and everybody else going home and Diddy going to jail. I'm not with that. I'm not with that at all. This sounds like, to me, encouraging people who take a less role in criminal activity to take a role in criminal activity. Think about it. I know such is the big man. As long as I'm not the big man, I'm cool. I can be his right-hand man. I can be a captain. I can be an assistant. I can be the cleanup man. But as long as I'm not the man, whenever his reign ends, whenever them folks come to get him, all I got to do is tell what I know. And I'm cool. And I committed just as many crimes possibly as he has. But I get to go home and he go to jail. That ain't right to me. That don't sit right with me. I think prosecutors need to reevaluate the way they give leniency to informants and rats. But what say you, fam? Drop a comment. I'd love to hear your thoughts. No more talk.